Sharon M. Atkinson here, MacGyver of Design. Today is Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. The time now is 2:49 p.m. This will be the 135th content video that I will place in my 46th playlist, Mind'sEyeFaith. This is part 12 in the series, What Does Jehovah God Want for Jesus, aka Michael? The theme scriptures are Genesis 3:15 and Galatians 3:16. Let's begin. And I shall put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He will bruise you in the head, and you will bruise him in the heel. That's Genesis 3:15, followed by Galatians 3:16. Now, the promises were spoken to Abraham and to his seed. It says not, and to seeds, as in the case of many such, but as in the case of one, and to your seed, who is Christ. Let's continue with this interesting development about Jehovah God and what he wants for his anointed one, Christ. We did read at another time, a point in this series, Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 and 7. But let's read verse 6 again. And there has been a child born to us, there has been a son given to us, and the princely rule will come to be upon his shoulder, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace. We all have an understanding, perhaps by now. Wonderful Counselor, Jesus Christ himself said, someone greater than Solomon is here. Wonderful Counselor, Jesus Christ, Mighty God. You know that his name, Michael, means one who is like God. Who is like God? That was not a question. It is who is like God. That's a statement. And then Eternal Father has to do with his priesthood. He's high priest, able to forgive sins and mediate between God and men for peace, reconciliation, forgiveness, and to raise humans up into the fullness of the purpose for which we were created to be children who will experience the glorious freedom of being children of God. But Prince of Peace, when will Jesus Christ be Prince of Peace? Some have said that Christ became king in 1914, perhaps. We know there was a lot of tribulation there. And according to some Bible studies and Bible students, 1914, they mentioned pivotal events that happen in heaven and on earth. But let's take a look at Revelation, what it says about Christ and his rulership as Prince of Peace. Let's go back to another scripture, Revelation 20. Let's read verse 3. And he hurled him into the abyss and shut it and sealed it over him, that he might not mislead the nations any more until the 1,000 years were ended. After these things he must be let loose for a little while. Speaking about the devil, if we read verse 2, it says, and he seized the dragon, the original serpent, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. That's interesting. We know that Satan the devil is going to be imprisoned for 1,000 years. We know that there's going to be a rulership of Christ and a special task force of persons that were taken from the earth. Again, review Revelation 5, 9, and 10. Persons brought from the earth to rule with Christ. And it says their rulership would be for what? 1,000 years. Revelation 20, we just read the end part, or let's say of 6. Read the whole thing. Happy and holy is anyone having part in the first resurrection. Over these, the second death has no authority, but they will rule, but they will be priests of God and of the Christ, and will rule as kings with him for 1,000 years. So there we have it, a rulership for 1,000 years. Isn't that most likely the time when Christ will be the Prince of Peace? Isn't that logical? Let's take a look at Psalm 46. Will that be done solely by Jesus Christ? Read verse 9. And he is making wars to cease, to the extremity of the earth. The bow he breaks apart, and does cut the spears to pieces. Who is that?